Okay, thank you very much. So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Azeez Akanji, as you know, and tonight is already night here. So tonight we discuss about the MIAD 809, and the MIAD 809 course title is International Economy Relation. So, what you just need to note regarding this course is that this course has 3 modules. Yeah, but tonight we'll just discuss about the first module. As a lecturer, the lecturer is in the last part of the first module. So, but tonight we'll just try to touch all the lectures she has done and what is in the course material. So I'll be glad if you can have a paper or a book and a pen beside you. So you can write down questions, and there's going to be a session where we'll ask ourselves questions and discuss about some things. Okay, so the module 1 we want to discuss about is divided into 3 segments. The first segment is about the politics and economic as a twin discipline, which shows about the interaction of politics and economy. That's the first segment, which we call section. While the second section on the module 1 talks about the international politics and the international economy. You know, in section 1 we talk about politics and economy, but in the section 2 we talk about the international politics and the international economy and how they interact together. Understand? While the third part is where we will talk about theories in international political economy and the global structure. Okay, are we set to go?
Yes, yeah.
So for us to understand this whole course, we need to understand 3 major concepts, because this concept will be discussed in any segment we find ourselves in this course. There is no topic you will talk about that you will not mention this segment, this concept. The 3 concepts are politics, economy, and international relation. You as a student studying international relation, you should be able to define, explain, expatiate what politics means, what economy means, and what international relation means. Without understanding these 3 concepts, it will be very difficult for you to know about international economic relation or international political economy. So there is international political economy and international economic relation. So without wasting much of our time, we delve into the first segment. The first segment is the 3 concepts I mentioned. I don't know, I'm not able to see myself. Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
We can see you.
Yes, we can see you.
We can see you.
Okay, just bear with me. I'm not able to let me just set it out. All right, we just continue. All right, you can see me. So the first concept we'll talk about is economics. What is economics? Since we are trying to discuss about, we are studying this political economic relation. So what is economics? So you should know that economics is about how people and the society use scarce resources such as land, labor, capital to satisfy unlimited human wants. Let me just repeat it. How human being or society, how people and society uses scarce resources. And the scarce resources we are talking about in this segment is, we talked about land, labor, capital to satisfy human wants. You know, human want is insatiable. That is, we have unlimited wants. We want to buy this, we want to buy this, we want to, listen, if you have 100,000 today, you want to buy something. Tomorrow you say, no, you want to buy something bigger. Look at people that buy iPhone. They have iPhone 16 this month. Next month, they can say iPhone 17. So the human want is insatiable. So the topics of economics try to talk about how we use scarce resources. The scarce resources is the land, the labor, and the capital. So when we talk about the labor, we talk about staff, human being, workers. When we talk about land, anything you can see on land, either gold, mineral, oil, and the likes. When we talk about capital, we talk about finance. So how we use these three elements to satisfy human wants. That's about economics. So economics help us to understand what to produce, how to produce it, and when to produce, and from whom to produce. I repeat myself, economics help us to understand what to produce, how to produce, when to produce, and for whom to produce. Let me just give you an example now. Nigeria has land, and in Nigeria land, we see oil, crude oil. So Nigeria as a country will ask itself what to produce with this mineral resources we have, because this mineral resources is seen in our land. So Nigeria will say, we will produce oil, crude oil. How to produce it? Let's work with NNPC, or let's work with Dangote refinery. Understand? When do we produce it? We produce it when we need this oil, and for whom to produce. In this context, Nigerians produce oil for two categories of people: the internal use people and the external people. That is, we produce to sell, we export, and we sell it out to people in the country. So in short, we use what we have to get what we want. That's in simple layman language. Use what you have to get what you want in economics. So if you want a work to be done for you, you use labor. If you want to buy something, you use capital. So that is about economy. And economy is subdivided into two. So economic is divided into two. We have the macro economy and the micro economy. The macro economy, this is spelled M-A-C-R-O, macro, and the micro, which is M-I-C-R-O, micro economy and the macro economy. So the micro economy, the name micro means something small. So something small. It's like we are trying to study something that is small in economy, and is the study of individual house by household, the study of you and I, how we consume things. Understand? This study consumers. Understand? The microeconomy study consumers, how we consume things. Understand? Those people that manufacture iPhone, they will study the trend. Okay, we manufacture 10,000 iPhone. How much did we sell out? Understand? They try to see how people consume it, or people buying Indomie. When Dangote tried to manufacture to do Indomie, he tried at the end. You will start to see, okay, how many Indomie did they sell out? Understand? So this is microeconomy, because what people consume is what the microeconomy focus on at the grassroots level. But the macro economy study economy in the global sphere. You study it generally in the global sphere. That's what the macro economy study. Now, let me just give an example. Now, we talk about inflation, we talk about unemployment, or we talk about GDP. Understand? So, if the government decide that the school fees in a particular school is going to be increased, you as a student of international economic relations, you should be able to understand that why did the government increase the price? Why not decreasing the price? You understand? So in general, the macroeconomy as a whole study the economy as a whole in global form. So you can study Nigerian economy, you can study the Yobe state or Lagos state economy or Osun state economy. That's the macro. While the micro is you and I in your own household. Why is it that in your own house is only Dangote Indomie you buy? Why not buying another product? It's only Bois cement you buy. Why not buying Dangote cement? That's the macro economy. You try to understand why you prefer this brand compared to another brand. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So this is, in short, economies use the scarce resources we have to get what we want. Understand? You use what you have to get what you want. Understand? So that is it. Nigeria has oil. They export it outside to get what they want inside. You have money, you go to the market, you buy what you want to take it to your house. You understand? So that's it about that one. Now, politics now. That's the first concept is economics. The second concept is politics. What is politics? According to a philosopher, his name is Aaron Laswell. Aaron Laswell defined policy as who gets what, when, and how. To all students of political science, if you are a student of political science here, they will know that there is no student of political science that doesn't know this definition. Politics is who gets what, when, and how. This definition is popular because it tries to explain how power is being generated, how power is being gained. Let's analyze this definition. Who gets what? Tinubu gets what? He gets power. How did he get the power? Through election. Understand? When did he get the power? During election or during voting period. So because all people in government, all people involved in politics passes through this definition. What do you get? Who get what, when, and how? So what do you get? You get power. Maybe you get appointment. What do you get from a commissioner? You get an appointment from a commissioner. How did he get it? You get it either by your skills or by people referring you to that commissioner. And when did you get it? Maybe you get it during the election period. You get it. So, in short, it's about how power and decision-making and government works together. How power, decision-making, and government works together. So when we talk about politics, we talk about how government, power, and decision-making works together. And it involves three important things you need to know. These three things must be in politics. If it's not in politics, definitely you are not talking about politics. And the number one thing is it uses power and authority to make decisions that affect everyone. I repeat myself, it uses power and authority to make decisions that affect everyone. Now let's look at it. Let's look at this the first thing I said politics involved. It uses power and authority. Power is different from authority. You get, recently something happened in Nigeria yesterday. Minister UK want to use authority, while the soldier Yerima want to use power. Understand? So authority is gained legally. We vote for you to get authority. Power is military, is mostly military. Power is mostly military in politics. So the use of power and authority to get to make decisions that affect everyone. When a local government chairman make a decision in his locality, it will affect people living there. When a governor make a decision, it affects people living there. When the United Nations make decision in UN, it affects the whole world at large. So from the grassroots level to the world, to the global political sphere, any decision made by a politician will affect people related to it. Am I communicating?
Yes.
The second thing is the creation and enforcement of law and order is one of the things that involve in politics. That is why we have the legislative arms of government, the House of Rep, the House of Senate. Listen, even in the customary, in the traditional system of government, we still have people that enforce law and order, because it is believed that a country that doesn't have people that create and make law that country will be in anarchy, that is lawlessness. So politics involve making law. You know, there is one philosopher that says human beings are political animals. So if you don't make law, we will behave like animal normally because we will disobey law. Even they are making law and we are still disobeying them. Understand? So the creation of law, policies and law, and how they enforce it is still part of what is involved in politics. Why the three things that is involved in politics is the allocation of value and resources in the society. The allocation of value and resources in the society. Let me just give you an example now. So you'll be asking yourself is that why is it that Bauchi allocation is different from Lagos allocation? Why is it that Lagos allocation from federal government is different from Osun State allocation? Why is it that Osun State allocation is different from Yobe State allocation? You understand? So they distribute value and resources. The money you have, they make you to have a certain percentage of money or resources based on what you are producing to the national level. You understand? So, in short, politics is equal to power and decision making in a society. Politics is equal to power and decision making in a society because without power or authority, a decision cannot be enforced. Understand? So power and decision making in a society, because without them, decision cannot be enforced in a society. I've already given an example like the price of goods and services mostly is being influenced by politicians. This is one of the reasons why we are studying this particular course, because we believe that politics influence economies and economics also influence politics. Understand? This is the second concept we need to understand before we understand this topic or this modules. Why the third thing we need to understand is the international relation. What is international relation? This international relation has two concepts. The first concept is international, while the second concept is relation. That is to say, the relationship between the international bodies. I'm coming. Someone raises and Mr. Leo Wali. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, what are the three things you said that make up politics? I didn't get that.
Okay, no problem. So I'll go back again. The first thing is, are you with me now? Can I say it?
Yes,
the
please.
first thing is the use of power and authority to make decisions that affect everyone. That's the first thing. Okay, can I proceed?
Yes.
The second thing is the creation and enforcement of law and order, or the creation and enforcement of law and policies. That is why we have the judiciary, the House of Rep, the House of Senate. They make law, and the judiciary arms of government enforce the law. You understand? So the third thing is the allocation of values and resources in the society. That is where we see the federal government giving allocation to each state. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I proceed?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Thank you very much. So now we are in the third concept. The third concept is international relation. So without even knowing the meaning, we know that this word international relation comprises of two words. The first word is international, which means something global, while the relation which means interaction. So if you try to break the two words together, you can even sense the meaning of international relation. So international relation is a study of how countries and global actors interact with one another. Is a study of how countries and global actors interact together. Do you get? So global actor we mean here is, we talked about actors like World Health Organization, World Trade Organization, the United Nations, and how do you call, and others. You understand? So how do they interact? Let me just give you an example now. During COVID-19, the World Health Organization make, how do you call it, in an international circular, they gave information that what you can do to prevent yourself from not having COVID-19. You get? Same thing applicable. So it's same thing applicable to the United Nations. In the United Nations, they make laws and decisions that affect the whole world. Today, the the foreign minister of Nigeria is in the UK. So he's in the UK trying to discuss with the UK, how do you call, ministers to see how Nigerian can interact with them peacefully, because they know that the United States of America is coming. So, and we go back to our source. You can check the Foreign Ministry of Nigeria Facebook web page. You can check it. It's currently in the UK now to discuss with them. So, how do we interact together? Because no country can survive in isolation. You have to interact together. Understand? You cannot survive alone. You have to interact with another country for you to be able to survive. So, but when we study political international relations, we mostly talked about three important things. So when you study international relations, there's three important things you need to study. So it's either, number one thing is you study about war and peace. You study about war and peace. Today, the United Nations the United States of America wants to come to Nigeria with its troop because of what is happening in Nigeria. So if Nigeria wants to take it we want to fight with them, like, don't come to our country, that we want to fight with them, it will become war. But instead of it to become war, we have to employ diplomatic means to talk with them. So in the study of international relations, we study war and peace. While the second thing is we study trade and diplomacy. Because some countries have the mineral resources, they have the scarce resources, but some countries don't have it. So for them to have it, you need to discuss with them. We will export what we have to you. You give us something. So trade and diplomacy, how we do business together as countries. Today, Nigeria rely in crude oil and oil to get business partners. Like if I mean business partner in this country, I mean countries to get diplomatic relation with another countries. So in the study of international relations, we study the trade and diplomacy. While the third thing is we study global cooperation. Global cooperation. I take the example of United Nations. You have to be there if you want to be relevant as a country. In West Africa, if you are part of West Africa country, you have to be part of ECOWAS if you want to be relevant as part of ECOWAS country, West Africa country. If you are selling oil, if you have oil in your territory, you have to be part of OPEC, OPEC. Understand? So if you need money, if you want to borrow money, you have to be part of International Monetary Fund. That is where all countries borrows money. Listen, global cooperation, you need to cooperate with other countries. If you don't cooperate with them, they will not cooperate with you also. So these are the three things we study most in international relations. And international relations recognize that the world is interdependent. You depend on me, I depend on you. Understand? So no country in the world, even we are talking about Libya having crisis every day. Libya depend on some other country. Libya depend on Italy. Libya depend on Italy and most countries in Europe. So no country can live alone. You have to interact with people, because what happened in one country can affect another country. Understand? So in Russia and Ukraine, in Ukraine and Russia, if the gas price is affected there, it will affect weight in most part of the Europe here. Understand? So this is my own gas here. Because it is cold, I have to wear a jacket. So for me to recharge this gas, it is money. I use money to recharge the gas. You understand? So if the price of gas is affected in that part of that world, it will affect we in the UK. You understand? If the price of oil is affected in some part of the world, it will affect Nigeria. Even fertilizer, as Russia is fighting, is affecting Nigeria. Fertilizer is affecting Nigerian farmers. You get? So that is why countries need to interact together for smooth government or governance. So in short, international relations state how countries or state actors or global actors interact internationally. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So these are the three concepts we need to understand. If we understand these three concepts, other things will be easier for us in this particular course. Without understanding these three concepts, you'll be reading your book and be finding it very difficult to understand the book. You understand? So someone has a question here. Okay, you can ask your question. Don't worry. Unmute your mic.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know. I got distracted a little bit. Sorry, I'm taking us back. So the three, you said war and peace. The second one is trade and diplomacy. What's the third one?
Global cooperation. That is where
Okay.
you will see that World Trade Organization, we talk about trade. Last time, I think in around September, Nigerians or other countries in Africa went to China for World Trade Organization. You will see United Nations Organization, people belong to United Nations Organization, some belong to ECOWAS as West African country. Those that don't belong to ECOWAS, they belong to Sahel. And so you have to belong to a group. If you don't belong as a country, it will be difficult for you to survive. So you have to belong to a certain organization to cooperate with them. Without belonging to in that organization, you cannot live alone. Nigeria has oil. Nigeria belongs to OPEC, OPEC. So that's the organization for oil people, those that have oil. You get? Am I communicating?
Yes.
Okay. So we move forward now. So now we want to discuss about how politics and economic relate, how they relate. Understand? So because we've talked about the definition of these things, but how they relate together. So economics and politics are deeply connected, and you cannot understand one without the other. You cannot understand politics without understanding economics. You cannot understand economy without understanding politics. Someone asked a question here. You can ask your question. You raise your hand now. I think Samson. Yeah. Okay. No worry. You can talk. Don't worry.
Hello, Mr. Akanji.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. I can hear you perfectly. You can unmute yourself. You can speak now.
Okay. I said there are big nations. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There are big nations. They don't belong to OPEC, but they are still surviving. Like Canada Canada, they don't belong to OPEC. Russia, they don't belong to OPEC, but they are still surviving. How?
Thank you very much. As I said those that has the oil belong to the OPEC. You get? Now, they don't belong to OPEC, but they are surviving. That is why the global cooperation is put in place. They don't have the oil, but they have another thing, which they can use to transact. That is why we have the concept of import and export. Do you get? You give me what you have, I give you what I have. Either we trade it financially or we use other means to trade it. Do you get? So
But
we
Canada, are you hearing me? Canada.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Canada and Russia, their oil reserve is far, far more than that of Nigeria. They have oil, they have everything, but they don't belong to OPEC.
See, those that belong to OPEC, there are those that have it in their soil. Now, even USA, they are not producing it. So thank you very much. Someone asked the question, are they producing it? Those that belong to OPEC are those producing it, like those are extracting it in their soil. Now, you see, even people believe that the amount of gold in France is not seen on the France soil. You understand? The gold in France reservoir are not seen in France soil. They take it from their colonies back in Africa's. Yes. Back in Africa. Huh? Do you get? So there is a concept that part of the theory we will discuss. There is one theory we will discuss. So mechanism, it is there is in this module, that in this lecture, we will talk about this theory, whereby they exploit their colonies in Africa to enrich themselves. Understand?
Yeah.
So we will talk about the theory there, whereby we will see most colonial countries, they lack more all these mineral resources, but as they lack it, we know that they have it. But how did they get it? It's through the exploitation. Understand? Am I communicating, sir?
You are communicating.
So
the example you are giving is read from that of the group. We all knew that France, they are exploiting Africa, their colonies, which mostly African countries. Yeah. They don't have gold, but the gold in their reserve is something else. But Canada, America, and Russia, they have oil in large quantity, and they don't belong to OPEC.
So how do you think that they will be powerful? They will be regarded as powerful nations if they don't take from others. It's a game. You take from others to be able to be big. You understand? So
I understand.
They take from others to be able to be big. So part of this theory is, like in this mode 1, we have some theories that talks about it. You have some theories that talks about it. So they believe that you take from your colonies in order to enrich yourself. In order for you to be relevant, you take from the colonies. Understand? So we will move forward, and in case you still have any other further question, you can ask the question. So we are trying to talk about how politics and economic relate together. Understand now? So I said you cannot understand politics without understanding economy. Likewise, you cannot understand economy without understanding politics. Why? There are 3 major reasons why it's like that. The first thing is politics decide who gets what, while economy decides how goods and services are produced and distributed. Politics decide who gets what. Understand? Why economic will decide that thing you said who will get, that thing we are talking about, somebody will get. Economy will decide how do we produce it and how do we distribute it. Understand? So the second thing is politics uses power to make decision. Politics uses power to make decision, while economic uses resources, scarce resources, to meet human needs. The third thing you need to note is the reason why they interrelate together in one way or the other is policy influence.
Sorry, can you come again for the second one? Sorry.
The second one is, okay, the second one is politics use power to make decision. Politics use power to make decision, while economics use resources to meet needs. Understand? You can relate this number two, you can relate it to Nigerian situation, for instance. Now. So those in Abuja, let's say in Aso Rock, they use the power they have. The power we bestow on them. They use it to make some decision. But our economic factor as a country, we decide, if Nigerians decide, okay, we don't want to be importing rice again. We don't want to be importing rice again. Muhammad Buhari decided that one when he was in power. He said we don't want to be importing rice because he wants to make Nigerian farmer rich, like he want to make them productive. But the question will remain: our economic resources, our economic factor. Can that economic factor cater for all Nigerians? Can we, if the government give them money, if the government give the farmer money, can they use that money to produce rice that will feed all Nigerians? So economy will use the resources we have to meet the needs of people. Without having the resources, we cannot meet the needs of people. So that is why sometimes you will see that the price of rice, you will see that foreign rice are cheaper than locally produced rice. Understand? So this is the reason. The number three is policy influence economy policy. Understand? Policy influence economic policy. When we talk about tax, we talk about trade. Tinubu is trying to say that, oh, everybody will pay tax. If you're a businessman, you will not escape tax. Tinubu is trying to implement that one because they believe that tax, if as a businessman or as a company, if you pay your tax, we will use the money from your tax to develop our countries. So the decision a politician is making, which is Tinubu, is affecting a business, which is economy. Understand? Why economy affect political power and influence? Economy affect political power and influence. Nigeria cannot shout on America today because we don't have the economy, we don't have the money. The money makes the power. Who has the money has power. So Nigeria, if America is say hush, Nigeria will keep shut because we don't have that economic power. We may have sovereignty and political power, but that economic power, that the rich nations are the powerful. Those nations that have power, that have money, are the powerful. Understand? So, in short, political decision, understand, affect economy. Understand? Political decision affect economy. Why economic condition influence political stability? Economic condition influence political stability. Understand? So when we make an economic decision in a country, let's say, who can give an example in Nigeria? Who can give an example in Nigeria where an economic decision affected the whole Nigeria? It happened, like, I think 3 years back. Who can give an example?
Removal of subsidy.
Thank you very much. The removal of fuel subsidy. The removal of fuel subsidy is an economic decision, but it affected everybody in Nigeria. Even to the extent that it affected goods and services. Okada rider man, or the Uber rider, or the woman selling in the market. She will say, they don't remove fuel subsidy. That is why things are expensive. So, because of that economic decision, it affected the whole country. So, who is governing the country? Government. That is politics. Now we see how they interrelated, they interact together. You cannot do without one. As a politician or as a future politician, you should be able to understand how you can use it, how you can use politics to get economic power, how you can use economic power to get the economic power to get the political power. So because they interrelate together. Understand? During Jonathan regime, I think the removal of fuel subsidy created protests. You understand? Because some economic decision will create crisis in the country. Understand? So a country's economic power give it political influence globally. The economic power of a country give it power. I take an example of Nigeria. In ECOWAS as a country, as an organization, Nigeria has power, not because of its size, but because of its economic, how do you call it, power. Listen, but globally, when the United Nations or China is talking, Nigeria will keep short because we don't have that economic power. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So now, what is the point of view of philosophy, or what is the point of view of some philosophy or theory regarding this political, international political economy? We have a theory we call the Marxist theory, or the Marxist point of view. It is spelled MARXIST. MARXIST. The Marxist viewpoint or theory. How did Karl Marx, that's the how do you call it? The man that propelled this theory, Karl Marx. That's K-A-R-L, Karl Marx, M-A-R-X. So how did Karl Marx view politics and economy? How did he view it? Now, according to Karl Marx, economy determines politics. According to him, economy determines politics. In his word, he said, the economy is the foundation, and politics is built upon it. Economy is normally the foundation that politics is built upon. So, to his belief, economy comes first, and then politics come after. So, let me just give an example now. Rich capitalist nations with more resources tend to dominate global politics. Do you agree with me? Rich capitalist nations with more resources tend to dominate global politics. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Because today we talked about this China, we talk about United Nations, we talk about France and the likes. They dominate global politics because of the resources they have. So, according to the Marxist viewpoint or the theory, he believed that economy remains the foundation where politics is built upon, as economy determines politics. That is his own point of view. But some other people now bring out their own theory. Their own theory is liberal view. Liberal is ILLIBEAL. Someone want to ask a question? Yeah, you can ask a question.
Does that make them powerful?
Yeah, this is his own point of view. So, and generally in the world, we believe that those that have more resources are powerful.
Okay.
Let me just give you an example now. In your area that you are living, the rich man that has duplex and 5 cars and has many things is indirectly powerful in that your area that you are living because of what? The money he has. The same thing is applicable to the politics. Those that have the money make influence because they tend to dominate others. Am I communicating? Someone asked a question in the comment section, but I can't see it. I can't see it. So I was talking about the liberal point of view or the liberal viewpoint. So the liberal thinkers, as I spell liberal as LIBERAL. So the liberal point of view. So the liberal thinkers, they believe that politics and economics can be separated. To them, we should not mix politics and economics together. Politics should stay on its own, economy should stay on its own. They argue that economic work best with minimal government interference. To them, government should not involve in economy. Government should leave economy to the economist. That is their own point of view. That is why they come with the concept of laissez-faire. That's the concept. Laissez-faire is a French word, which is free will, free trade. Laissez-faire is spelled Laissez-Faire. Laissez-faire. So they come with that concept because they believe that government should not be interfering in anything that has to do with economies. Government should not interfere in them. Understand? Now, they believe that they let the market regulate itself through supply and demand. Let's say you are in the market now. You are in the market now. There is the theory of supply, demand, and supply. So they want the market to regulate itself with supply and demand. That the government should not in any way interfere in anything coming with economies. But their own theory, what happened with their own theory is that theory also is being debated. Understand? If the government is not interfering in the price of commodity in the market, everybody will increase its own price. Today, the price of oil is regulated by the government. If the government had said that they will not put their mouth in anything price of oil again, maybe Dangote will say his own as different price. NLPC will say his own at different price. Listen, but we are not here to argue about their own point of view, but we just need to study about their own point of view. Why the third point of view of how politics and economic relate together is the modern view. That is the era we are now. What is the modern view? Today, most scholars of today agree that politics and economy are interdependent. That politics and economic works together. We cannot separate them. They agree with what Karl Marx said. That's the first point of view I mentioned. They agree with them. Now, to them, there is two motions we need to take note. The first motion is politics set the rules for economy. Am I communicating? Politics set the rule for economy. That is why today the government of Nigeria will set, okay, we need to sell price of oil and gas, this price. Our oil is this, our gas is this. Understand? I don't even know how much they sell oil in Nigeria. I've never bought oil in Nigeria. Sorry. I grew up in a country where we have electricity. So I grew up in Ivory Coast. So I don't even know how much are they selling oil in Nigeria today? 950. Okay. So it is generally believed that 950 is what they sell oil in Nigeria. So which means in Kaduna, I can get it in 950. In Katsina or in Osun State or in Imo State or in River State, I can get it at 950. Because the government, politics has regulated that price. That is the view of the modern, modern view of philosophers. Why the second point is that they believe that economic performance affects political power and stability. Economic performance affects political power and stability. Today, we are blaming Tinubu that the Tinubu regime is very harsh. Is very hard. This is because the economic performance of Nigeria is low. Assuming that economic performance of Nigeria is going up, we will not blame Tinubu. So it's because the economic performance of Nigeria is low. That is why we are indirectly blaming him, putting the blame on him. So if he was not the president, we will not blame him. No, because he is the president. That is why we are blaming him. That is, you can see how it relates. So you can see how it relates. People will go to the market now, they want to buy salt, common salt. They will say, why is this expensive? This government, they will put it on the government. Listen, any complaint we have in the society now, or you want to take cab, you want to take Uber, you put it on the government. You want to take Okada, you put it on the government because the price is expensive. But, this government is not favoring also. This is because economic of a country will determine the political stability and the political power. Understand? So the interconnection of these politics and economic matters. So this interconnection will bring us to another topic we call political economy. Although that's in another module, but not this module, but political economy. So that is why any government that wants to come in power, they make manifestos about economy. They give their own manifesto, they give their own plan of how they will be able to perfect our economy. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Can I proceed? Can I proceed, please? If you have any question, you can ask me before I proceed.
You can proceed.
Okay, no problem. Now, our application in international relation, rather, that how do we apply politics and economy in international relation? You know, I've given example in local example, that is Tinubu or the market woman or the Okada rider. I'm giving that example. Now, how do we apply politics, economy in the international sphere? Understand? In global affairs, political and economic force work together. In global affairs, political and economic forces overlap constantly. Most time they work together. Number one thing, this is because I'll give you four main reasons why in the international sphere, politics and economic work together. Number one, trade war. Economic action driven by political motive. Now, you know, today there is a war in between USA and China. Listen, there is economic war between USA and China. The clothes, the Adidas, the Nike, the clothes, the designer, they are selling it very expensive in USA or in Europe. China just brought up, I think in August, they just bring up some prices. Maybe they are selling it at $10,000 in USA. China's just brought up that they can get it at $400. Look at the difference, 10,000 to $400. That is economic, because they let the world know that all the designer you are buying in America, Americans usually come and take it in China. We are the one that are manufacturing it, and they will take it and sell it expensive. So don't buy it in America again. Come and buy it in China. So economic action driven by political motive. China want to impose itself that we are also boss. America also want to impose himself, because as China did that one, Donald Trump asked them to close TikTok in USA. That no TikTok in USA. So that's trade war. Everybody wants to show that we are the one in kind of business. So sanction. The number two thing is sanction. How they work. We are trying to talk about how politics and economic work in the international sphere. So the number two thing is sanction. So political tools with economic consequences. You see, you can in the global affairs, they can decide today. They can how do you call it? What is this president name? Donald Trump. He said in his last report about Nigeria that if Tinubu is not able to solve this problem, there is going to be sanction. Understand? They can sanction us, maybe by stopping to give us support or aid. So that is part of it. They can decide. Today, we don't have US aid again in Nigeria. US aid in Nigeria again, we don't have it again in Nigeria. That's part of the sanction. That's why some other countries have it, but in our own country, we don't have it. You get? So the number three is aid and loan. As an economic tools for political aid and loan are economic tools for political influences. Today, we want to borrow money from China. Tomorrow, we want to borrow it from USA. We want to borrow it from the International Monetary Fund. Understand? So, it's part of it. As I said, no country can live alone. You need other countries to survive. Understand?
Abdul, sorry. I've been raising my hand.
Okay, sorry, I'm not seeing it. Okay, you can ask your question.
Abdul, do we have a government in Nigeria? Because you've cited many examples via our host nation, Nigeria, but I did not see a government there. Because we have massive resources.
You said, do we have a government in Nigeria?
A functioning one. Sorry, let me use the
okay.
Do we have a functional government in Nigeria? You've been citing about sovereignty in this course, but Nigeria is not behaving like a sovereign nation.
You see, we have currently. That is why we are trying to study this course. You see, we have a government in Nigeria, but our economic power, and our economic power make us weak. At the end of this module, we talk about security structure, knowledge structure. That is a lecture the lecturer explained yesterday. So our security structure is very weak. If any country wants to bombard us, they will bombard us. So that is why you see them that they are afraid. So in this context, I'm talking about the global affairs. So I will talk about this structure. There are four structures a country rely on. You understand? There are four structures a country rely on. Part of it is the security structure. And we have the economic structure. You understand? So Nigeria economic structure is down. The security structure is down. So what do you expect? So the only thing you expect for them is to use diplomatic means to solve problem. They don't want wahala. Make we no find wahala. They use diplomatic means to solve problem. So we have government, but because we are lagging in some things, that is why we need to use other means to solve things.
The third one.
What is it?
After the sanction, the third one, I didn't hear it well.
The third one is aid and loan.
Okay, that's
thank you. We need aid, we need loan. So all countries in the nation need it. We borrow money. Nigeria borrow money, UK borrow money, even USA, the big USA borrow money. So we borrow money, and when we talk about money, we talk about economics. It's the government that borrow, so they work together. And the fourth one is global institution. The global institution, we have the United Nations, we have the International Monetary Fund, IMF, we have the World Trade Organization, WTO, the World Bank. They also constitute politics and economy. Because they talk about politics, they talk about economy. Even the World Health Organization, today, so in some countries, sanitary pad is free. Not free, but they give it at a subsidized price. But in some country, they don't give sanitary pad at subsidized price. So you ask yourself, why is it that females today buy sanitary pad? Something that should be free. Listen, so why in some country it is cheaper, in some country it is expensive? This is politics. It's part of politics. So in the global spheres, these four things matters most. I talk about trade and war. I talk about sanction, aid and loan, and the global institution. So this international political economy studies how money, power, and decision-making interact globally. International political economy study how money, power, and decision-making interact globally. Am I communicating? I can't hear you. Please, am I communicating it?
Yes, Abdul, you did not allow me to get to something, the clarity I was seeking. You talked about resources.
Okay.
We've got massive resources, just like Venezuela. If you check the oil reserve of Venezuela, you could power the whole earth for years. That raises some political gymnastics now between the states and Venezuela. Now, close to us, we've got massive resources ranging from oil, gold, other minerals, cobalt, rare earth minerals, massive reserve, including natural gas. Moscow, that's Russia, they've got massive resources.
Okay.
China is got the workforce, and recently they discovered some gold deposits. Recently, it's not up to this year, I think. They discovered some massive gold deposits. Okay. But a nation like Paris, I think they just built on the extortion.
Okay.
Via their colony, as you said. So now Nigeria have got massive resources, but they've got no power. But you made mention that resources has a way of positioning someone to be with influence or affluence. So what happens to our own massive resources?
I will
Just like
answer your
Venezuela,
question.
very massive. It's massive. It cannot be neglected. It's a very green factor that could not be neglected. So
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I need clarity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So thank you for this question. See, for you to be able to answer this question, you must be able to link it with global power structure. How power is structured globally. You understand? How power is structured globally. You say Nigeria have gas, oil, mineral resources, and the likes, but do we have production structure? There are 4 global power in the world. There are 4 global power. And these 4 things, if you don't have it, you are nothing. Nigeria have, how do you call it? Nigeria have the mineral resources, but without the production power or the production structure, it is useless. We have to take it outside to refine it before we can use it back. It's like we're taking it from our country, take it outside, they refine it, and they resell it back to us. I just want to jump, although it's something I wanted to talk about before the end of our class. It's part of the class, but I'll just talk about it. The 4 global structure we have in the world, how power is structured globally. The number 1 is security structure. The power of military and defense. If a country don't have power of military and defense, it will be small in the sight of others. People will dominate them, no matter how big they are in land territory. That's the first thing, security structure. The second thing is production structure. Who produce what and who benefit it? Nigeria produce things. Do we benefit from it? Or Nigeria, even if not Dangote that is saving Nigeria now by producing things, is how do you call oil? If not because of Dangote refinery, tell me where we have our own, the refineries we have in Nigeria. They are decayed. The refineries are not working. Listen, so we need to take our oil, take it outside Nigeria, refine it, and take it back to Nigeria. So, and you expect those people that are refining it not to exploit us. Am I communicating? The second thing is financial structure. That's the third thing. The third thing is financial structure. The financial structure who control money and banking system in the whole world. Today, International Monetary Fund will give you money. They will give you loan. When you hear Tinubu borrow money, or a government borrow money. When they borrow money, do you think they are borrowing money to like because they don't need the money? It's a way to exploit you indirectly. We give you the money so that you are stick to us. We are your master. Understand? It's like in the banking system. You go to the bank, you want to take money, you want to borrow money. The bank will give you money, but you will come back to pay the money back. But if you want to pay the money back, if you borrow 10,000, maybe you will pay 15,000. So this is the financial structure. And most countries don't have the money to pay the loan. And if you don't have the money to pay the loan, you give something else in return. So the fourth part is the knowledge structure. Understand? So the education, some of us are in the UK or we are outside Nigeria. Like you're outside Nigeria. So now look at the educational structure in the country you are compared to Nigeria. You will know that Nigeria educational structure is not something we can call home about. You understand? So It's not about looking at, no, Nigeria have the mineral resources. They have the mineral resources. Are they using it? Are they manufacturing things with it? Are we utilizing it? How many exports we have and how many imports we have? We import more than we export, which is supposed not to be. Do you understand? So there are more factors that is undermining Nigerian power in the global spheres. But for you to understand that things that affect Nigerian power in the global spheres, you need to understand these 4 things. Analyze it yourself. That what is our security structure? Can our security structure stand? If USA come into Nigeria today, can Nigeria bombard USA? We cannot. And how many nuclear weapons do we have? You understand? We don't have. Even our fighter jets are also not up to date. You get? So you analyze that also. You analyze for the production structure. Understand? Sardine, how do you call it? Tomato paste? Some of the tomato paste used in Nigeria are produced outside. What is wrong in giving money to those in Maiduguri, in Bauchi, in other part of Nigeria that the farmers should work on it? What is wrong with that? Understand? So I don't know whether I tried to indirectly answer your question or answer your question, but
yeah, it's clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can we proceed? Can we proceed, please?
Yes.
Okay. Now we've talked about politics, economy, and international relations and how they interrelate together. Now we will talk about a concept. There is a concept in international relation that we call it. I call it mercantilism. That is spelled M. It's spelled MERCANTILISM. Someone asked a question in the comment section. Let me just check the question. Why do our Nigerian doctors prefer to travel out instead of building our structure here? This is a question. Why do our Nigerian travel out? You see, it's why do they? I'm in the UK, to be sincere. I will use the example of the UK to answer this. You see, doctors in the UK are well paid. Understand? They are well paid and they have the up-to-date equipment. The knowledge structure works there. The production structure also works there. They have the latest working equipment. In some Nigerians, they don't have lights. It's generator they will on. I've watched it on a documentary where they were doing operation. They on generator. The generator got off. They have to find torchlight to on it in the labor room doing operation. So our production, how do you call our production structure also affect that part also. Understand? So if they see that the medical sector is decayed, they will try to find their way forward. Let's go to another country where they value doctors or where they value nurse. Many Nigerians are nurse and doctors in this UK that have. Okay, because they believe that what they are getting in UK, they cannot get it in Nigeria. And the latest medical equipment they have in the UK, we don't have it in Nigeria. As an ask yourself, why is it that in a common Nigerian politician will travel back, come to UK for medical checkup? Why not doing a medical checkup in Nigeria? Because he knows that medically, Nigeria is not well equipped. Am I communicating?
I'm clear.
Okay. So I want to talk about this concept. There is one concept we need to also understand in this course. The concept is the mercantil. I don't have to pronounce it, but I pronounce it mercantilism. Mercantilism. You can. There is a transcription. I don't know if you can watch your screen. There is a transcription showing mercantilism. That's M.
Mercantilism.
Thank you. Mercantilism. Thank you very much. That's MERCANTILISM.
Yeah.
Mercantilism. So, what is mercantilism theory? Understand? So, this is the theory. This theory has been applied in the 16th to the 18th centuries. Understand? And it is known as the theory of wealth and power. The theory of wealth and power. And what does this theory say? The theory says three things. The theory says three things that you need to note. The number one thing the theory says is the more gold or silver a country has, make them richer and stronger. The more gold and silver a country has, make them richer and stronger. In this context, look at, there was one man in Mali that they said is the richest man in the world. He was the richest man in the world. And he was in Africa, Mali. Mansa Musa. You can Google it, Mansa Musa. He was the richest man in the world, and he's from Mali. But look at Mali today. Mali is poor. I said, if the richest man in the world was there back in the 16th to 17th centuries, why is Mali poor today? It is because of this theory. Understand? It is because of this theory. So the first thing is, the more gold and silver you have, a country, the richer and powerful it is. The second thing is, to gain wealth, country must export more. To gain wealth, to gain money, to get power, to gain wealth, country must export more and import less. Nigeria, we import more, we export less. But this theory is saying that for you to have power as a country, you must export more. You must be sending back some things outside. Let people buy your product. Why you import less? Look at China today. Most of the Asian countries today, this policy, they try to implement such policy. They export more things outside China. China, Japan, and Korea, they export more things back to Africa and Europe. Why they import less? You understand? So for you as a country to be rich, to be powerful, your exporting power must be more than your importing power. Why the thing in this concept, this theory says, is government should control trade and protect local industry. Government should control trade and protect local industry. This is what they are using in Asia. They make sure that local industry have what they need to be able to produce more and sell it outside. Is Nigerian government protecting local industry? This is left to us to understand, to answer ourselves. Even without answering, you know the answer yourself. So, are we protecting in Nigeria? Are we protecting local industry? Are we pushing them to be able to produce things that we will export outside? You should know that before you export things outside, that means that you don't eat belly food. So if the thing you want to export outside, you've not put it in your own stomach, assuming that we want to be exporting rice outside, that rice is in scarcity in Nigeria. In some part of Nigeria, it is 50,000. In some part of Nigeria, it is 80,000. In some part, it is 70,000. That means that the little one we have, we cannot take it outside because we are not able even to satisfy ourselves. Understand? So this theory was applied by France and Britain in the 16th and the 16th and 18th century. Understand? Because they rely on the colony. They rely on the colony. They were taking things back. They produce things in Britain, for instance, and they sell it in their colony. They sell it in Nigeria, Ghana, Gambia, and the likes. While France also send it to the colony, Mali, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire. Understand? They sell their things, but they take things from us. They take our mineral resources. They take it back to their own country to enrich themselves. Understand? They bring it things and they take the most valuable things. That time we have our gold, we have our mineral resources. We don't know how to produce it, how to refine them. So they take it to their own countries. But this theory was only used between the 16th and the 18th century. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So we want to talk about the theories, the in plural, of international political economy. And so there are some theories that is commonly used. And so we'll talk about them, and we'll try to. I think we have some minute. We have like 30 minutes left. I'm sorry that I'm a bit talkative, but we have like 30 minutes left. So theories of international political economy. Listen, I will just explain to you, and for more reference, also you can check your handout. But let me just explain. The number one theory is dual economic theory. Dual is DUAL, economy theory. This theory believes that every country has two parts. The UK, the US, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, China has two parts. Dual economy theory. This theory believes that every country has two parts. The number one part, or let me just say sector, or part or sector. The number one sector is the modern sector, the industrialized sector, the rich and developed sector. Why the number two is the traditional sector, which is the agricultural, poor and underdeveloped sector. Let me just take an example now. Lagos as a state. There are some states, there are some places in Lagos that if you get there, you will think that you are outside Nigeria. But there are some states, there are some places in Lagos, you enter there, you will pity yourself that why are you Nigerian? You understand? Because they believe that all countries of the world have two parts. The modern sectors and the traditional sector. Even in the UK, there are some places in the UK, you will get there, you think that you are in Africa. You think that you find yourself in one ghetto in Africa. Understand? Why there are some places you will get to in this UK, you say, this is where they call Obodo Yimbo, or this is where they call white man country. Understand? So this theory believes that all country has two sectors. We have the dual, the modern sectors and the traditional sector. Understand? So, but it also believes that for a country to be developed, you must change your traditional sector for you to be developed. For instance, if you are using subsistence farming, maybe the farming you use cutlass, you use your cutlass to do farming. If you use it before, change it to mechanized one, the modern farming. You understand? So if you are using generator to generate light, stop using generator, use solar, or you can use another option. So you change things, you change your options. So you don't believe that, okay, we don't have any other option. Let us be using the options we have. Listen, there are options. It's because you are not employing these options. So you change the traditional sector, the traditional thing you do, you change it to another thing. Understand? So if we don't modernize our traditional sector, we will not be developed. You understand? So Nigeria, in most sectors in Nigeria, even in Nigeria, offices in Nigeria today, they are still using papers. You will see you go to office, they use paper. They use paper to document. You will see, you go to some offices, some lecturer office, you will see document pile up, paper pile up. Why? Why not doing it online? Things are evolving, but you are still backward. Yes. So for you to have the power, for you to be relevant, you must modernize your traditional sector. Do not stay backward. Listen, sometimes you will just wonder that Nigeria, maybe we still did 1960, because there are some things that we just look at. This world is changing, but things are not changing in some part of Nigeria. Listen, so this is the first theory. The second theory is the modern world system theory. Modern world system theory. So this theory was propelled by Emmanuel. There is one man they call Emmanuel. His last name is Wallerstein. Emmanuel Wallerstein. You can see the transcription in the video. So this theory believes that the world is in one capitalist system. the world is one capitalist system, but it is divided into two. It believes that the world is in capitalist system and it is divided into two. The number one is core system, CORE. Or let me just put it like core country, CORE, and country. Listen, it is believed that core countries are the rich country because they control trade, they control capital, they control technology, and name it, anything. This country control it. Why the second thing is the periphery countries. The periphery, you can see the transcription, the periphery country. The periphery country are the poor countries.
Less
Understand?
developed.
They have the supply, they only supply raw material. They don't know how to change that raw material to benefit them. Nigeria is a case study. We supply them things, but we don't know how to change it. Nigeria is supplying cashew, Nigeria is supplying granite, but we don't know how to change it to benefit ourselves. So this modern world system theory believe that we have two theory. It's divided into two: the core countries and how do you call it? The periphery country. The core are the rich because they control economy, trade, finances, technology, knowledge. While the periphery, they are the poor one. They supply raw material and cheap labor. They supply raw material and cheap labor. So you see today, some companies are in the UK and they have branches in Nigeria. Understand? So they know that if they have staff in UK, they are going to pay approximately 3 million per month. But if they have staff in Nigeria, they are going to pay their staff maybe 300,000 naira, 400,000 naira, which is less than 150 pounds. You get? So they believe this is what this story is trying to talk about. And it's believed that the rich country exploit poor ones through trade and finance. The rich country, they exploit the poor countries through trade and finance. That is why the gap between the rich and the poor nations continues. The gap between the rich and the poor nations, the gap between Nigeria and America will continue till eternity. It will continue until we decide to do, we decide to use our brain to work in Nigeria. Understand? So the number 3 theory is the hegemonic stability theory. Understand? Somebody asked a question now. Somebody put a notion there. Singapore did it. We can. Yeah, Singapore did it, but Nigeria can. But Nigerian, the leaders we have in Nigeria, God help us. I'm sorry. The leaders we have in Nigeria, they are not ready. Understand? So
yes, you're right.
They are not ready. They know the needful. They know the needful, but they are not ready. So the number 3 theory is the hegemony. So the hegemonic is spelled, you can see it, HE, G for golf, E, yeah, hegemony. So hegemonic. Can I proceed? The hegemonic stability theory. So the hegemonic stability theory is, it believes that the world is more stable when there is one dominant power. This theory believes that the world is more stable when there is one dominant power. So I just want anyone to give me an example regarding this theory. They believe that the world is more stable when there is one dominant power. Can someone give me an example regarding this? What can we give as an example to explain this? Anyone can answer this? Should I repeat my question?
Yes.
So this theory is called hegemonic stability theory. And it believes that the world we have, the globe that we have, is more stable if we have one dominant power. That power, okay, that's this. So currently, what can we use to explain that theory? Should I explain it? Or I should wait for an answer?
Explain.
Okay, let me explain. Someone answered the use of currency. Yeah, it's still part of it. Use of dollar. Thank you very much. It's still part of it. Now look at the USA. In the 19th century, the Britain was the hegemon. Hegemon is HEGOMON. The meaning of hegemon is dominant power. So in the 19th century, the Britain were the most powerful nation. When they cough like this, other countries will be shivering. But after the World War II, USA take over. That is why today Donald Trump will be in America and he'll be putting his mouth in Nigeria shares. He'll be putting his mouth in Russia and Ukraine shares. He'll be putting his mouth in China shares. You understand? So it's after the World War II, USA became powerful. But before then, it was Britain. Understand? So one country, one nation have to be powerful. So that when he cough, as they are coughing in the White House in America, Abuja Aso Rock is shriving. Do you understand this theory? Please signify if you understand. Hello?
Does the hegemony, like before, when the Soviet Union was very, very powerful,
They were the hegemon. Hegemon
Yes.
means the dominant country.
Yes, and then I think the Roman Empire, Greek Empire, Roman Empire, then the Soviet Union, and then the Britain, I think.
The Roman Empire, the Greek Empire you talk about, this is, I think I discussed about in the 805, for those that have not watched the video. So it's their own era is different era. You understand? They their own era is different, but we are trying to link into the contemporary issues happening now. As I mentioned, I said before in the 19th century, during the 19th century it was the Britain, but after the World War I, up to today that we are speaking, is the USA. So if we have to link it to, let's say we take it to the Ottoman Empire, the Greek Empire, the Byzantine, and the likes. So it's going to be like some people will not understand. You understand? But in each era, we had some hegemon. In each era, we have some hegemon. Like when I mean hegemon, I mean powerful nations, powerful dominant countries. We have them in each era. So in this our era that we have, now USA. So if they support you, you are free to go. That if they against you, you have problem. If they support you, you are good to go. You understand? So you can continue if you have any other thing to say before I proceed. Any other thing to say? Can I proceed? Before World War I was Ottoman Empire. Yeah, before someone put it somewhere, a comment in the comment section. He said before World War I, it was Ottoman Empire. Yeah. I explained that in 805 videos lesson I did. So before World War I, it was Ottoman Empire, but after that, they took power from them, and Britain came. After World War II, USA took over power. Understand? So the last thing I wanted to talk about is the global power structure, and I've already explained it by answering one question someone asked there. So I think you already know about the global power structure, or should I just list it again? Security, production, finance, and knowledge. These are the four global power structure. I've talked about it while answering someone questions there. So this is going to be the end of our class, but now let's interact. We just interact like 10 minutes or 15 minutes to see if there's questions, and answer a question we can just try to talk about. Any question?
Abdul, there's something that used to confuse me. Sorry. Now, you talked about security, that's defense.
Yeah.
Like popular slogan, charity begins at home. So I think we are lacking charity at home while trying to give charity to other African sub-Saharan nations. We are being painted with a gigantic label, Giant of Africa.
Giant of Africa.
But we are lacking at home. Fine. Now, before now, even in diaspora, other nations from African nations are usually a bit they have that kind of the way they perceive Nigerians, that we have something they don't have. So it made them not to be, when let's say in a group of men, male gender like 20, let's say 2 is from Nigeria and other is from, let's say, Kenya, Cape Verde, that's Casablanca or Uganda, Nairobi or wherever. Do you see they tend to go together, discuss their thing, and they tend to sideline that of Nigeria because they see that of Nigeria to be superior, whereas the charity at home, we are lacking it. We are not. I want to bring your attention to something when we were talking about.
You mean Nigeria, the country?
Yes.
We
so
are
now,
okay.
Talking about that, Moscow has more nuclear warheads than states. Are you aware?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So now they have the security. They have more gas reserve, oil reserve. They are the controller of jet fuel, aviation grade 1.
Yeah.
They are the one that escalated most of the flight prices around the globe during the altercation they have with Kyiv. Because what we have is natural gas.
Yeah.
US buys from them for their aviation fuel, which they domicile at Texas. That's where they have their tank farm, I think. But US have oil, but they don't have jet fuel. I'm not sure if they have jet fuel, which is a very, very key important thing. So now US is the world power. No argue, no much argue or debate about that. But their world power is limited to all these small economic nations. Are you aware they could have more influence over Britain than Moscow?
Can you repeat that last question? Are you aware what?
Are you aware that states could have more influence over Britain than Moscow?
Do you mean, am I aware that United Nations has more influence?
States, yeah, the states has more influence or could
Yes.
They could coerce Britain more than they could coerce Moscow. They cannot coerce Moscow.
Yeah, sure.
So, but now Moscow is not the current world power. Beijing is not the current world power, but they cannot coerce Moscow. They cannot coerce Beijing.
So let me just tell you something about this world power of a team. You see, as America is, as Russia, the UK, and the likes, you cannot predict, you cannot tell the amount of nuclear weapons these countries have. That's one thing. That is why when Donald Trump has his meeting with Kim Jong-un, he tried to make sure that they agree on some diplomatic lines. China said what? China said, if you don't attack us, we are not going to attack us. Listen, recently, in last month, China displayed its military prowess. I think we've all watched it. It was live. China displayed its military prowess to show all the whole world, don't attack us. So if you attack us, we have what it takes to retaliate back. So far as you don't attack, we will not attack. So the same thing applicable to Russia also. USA know that Russia has some weapons, there is some nuclear weapons, but you can't predict how much is it. You understand? So the security aspect in the global spheres is tense. So everyone stay on his guard. I respect you, you respect me. I will not attack you, you will not attack me. Look at, I think it was Iraq or Iran, I'm sorry if I'm not sure.
Yeah.
During Palestine war, when Israel bombarded them, see how they retaliate. I think it was in September or August.
Yes, August. I think Iran. It's Iran.
It's Iran. So they were underestimating Iran, that Iran doesn't have nuclear weapon or don't have weapons. But as they attacked Iran, Iran retaliated like ×3. It shook them until Trump have to intervene. So Nigeria as a country, we are just there, we are just watching them like this. But in the global space, all these power nations like China, Russia, Britain, USA, and the likes, all of them, they are standing on their own, on their guard. Diplomatically, don't touch me, don't bombard me, don't attack me, I will not attack you. Don't fight me, I will not fight you. But if you decide to fight me, I will retaliate. That is why we have diplomacy. That is why you are studying this. Nigeria can send you to USA tomorrow that go and negotiate with Trump. Don't let Trump bombard us. You understand? So militarily, you cannot determine the power of a nation. In Africa, we can say that Nigeria is the third. Nigeria is the third in Africa. That is undisputable. But in the whole world, we are far, far behind. But in the old world sphere, people will say it is USA. But you cannot tell what is the military power of China or the Britain or Russia. Or understand, you cannot tell what is the power, because some of them are hiding themselves. Do you get me? Some of these nations that you mentioned, they are hiding themselves. So in case anything happen where they need to show themselves, that is why recently China showed themselves after they fought the economic war. So after they fought the economic war, China displayed its military power to show America that aside from economy, aside from technology, we have military power. Calm down. Don't attack. Or in the speech the leader gave, he said China will not attack first. But if you attack us first, be ready for the consequences. That was in the speech. You can check it on Google. So he said China will not attack any country. They are for business. They want money. But if any country attack China first, that country should be expecting retaliation. Okay, so now in the case of Nigeria military power, well, in Africa, we are still third. But when we say that we are capable enough to attack Niccolo Machiavelli. So can we say that we are capable enough to attack countries like Britain or USA or China or Russia? We are not capable. So maybe we can attack Benin Republic or Togo or Mali, but not other power nation. So I think we've come to the end of our conversation, our lecture. If you have questions, I think, okay, someone put a question there. I think it is safe to say that no one nation can have all the, yeah, sure. So someone answered the question in the comment section. No nation can have all the global structure.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That people say the state is the almighty, but they're not the almighty.
Yeah.
If you dive deep into the nuclear weapons, China and Russia has ICBMs, like the one Russia has is Saturn II, and Saturn II can go almost all the globe.
Someone asked the question here, but is the US more powerful than the UK? Yeah, UK, wow, UK has out. UK is not powerful. UK is not powerful. Is in Africa, for Africa country, UK is powerful, but globally, UK is not powerful than USA. USA is powerful than UK.
So the question is why? I missed the why. Why is the UK? Yes, why is the US more powerful than the UK?
They have more structure than them. You see, UK is governed. UK politically. What do you say? You want to say something?
So when you send our service,
what is he saying?
This another different.
I've moved him. Let him talk. Let him be. I've moved him. Someone wanted to say something. You said, why is the USA has more power than the UK? The USA has economic power. Son, the USA, even when the Prime Minister here in the UK had his last meeting with Donald Trump, I think in this September this semester, September, August, when he has his power, he criticized them that the way they are running the UK is not favorable to them. He criticized them that they are giving levity and they are taking immigration with levity hands. So, suggestion Donald Trump gives, it's easily accepted. Like they accept it easily in the UK. Then suggestion we will give, like we that in UK, suggestion our Prime Minister in the UK will give, they might not accept it in the USA. Listen, in the United Nations, listen, the USA has more stake in the United Nations. Because you know what? You see, in the 19th century, the UK has power. You understand that? In the UK has power. They were the hegemon. We talk about the economy structure theory now. So the UK has power. But after the World War II, that they show power, the USA show them power. They show them, say, we get power than you. The UK stepped down. USA took over. Understand now?
Yeah, relying on old money, old glory.
What? The US is
Relying
an
on
old glory.
Okay,
They
but
know how to use the old glory now. Some people has the glory, but they don't know how to use it.
do you think the monarchy in the UK, it's probably what is affecting their power globally? Maybe if they were running like a more democratic system without the monarchy.
I don't think so. I don't think so. As far as they are running the monarchical system, they are still trying. They are still influencing policy. They are still making policies that influence other nations too. Listen, I mentioned during this lecture that the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Nigeria is in the UK as of today. That I'm speaking with you. Is in the UK. He came to the UK today. Like this morning, he came to the UK this morning. So he put it on his Facebook page. So because I follow the latest news in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so he put it there that in the UK they want to discuss bilateral relation between Nigeria and the UK. They also want to discuss how they can release Ekere Madu. We all know Ekere Madu, right? Ekere Madu is in prison in the UK, so they want to discuss how they can release him to Nigeria so that he will come and serve his prison terms in Nigeria. So the monarchical system is not affecting them because there are some countries that still use it. In Saudi Arabia, for instance, they are still using the monarchical system. So, and it's not affecting them. So there is no perfect system of government, either democracy or monarchy or authoritative or military. There is no perfect. It depends on the country structure and how the country wants its affairs to be. You understand now? So any question? If there's no question, I think we'll end here. Is anyone that wants to say something? Someone else said something in the comment section. He said, no democracy is perfect. Yeah, there's no perfect system of government. We that study political science, we believe that all concept or all theory has its advantage and disadvantage because we are studying social sciences and these theories. So there's advantages and disadvantages. So any question before we go?
Yeah, so I have one last question. How powerful is North Korea?
Kim Jong-un, how powerful they are.
Yeah.
See, all countries share them, even the USA share them. They dare not attack them. Because these are countries, they don't, the leader is not making noise. He's on his side. But all the nations in the world know that this man is deadly. They know that he has the power. They are militarily, like
yeah. So I'm talking about economic power. So if they have like
economically, they don't make much way, but in security, like in terms of security, they make more way. But in terms of economy, they don't make much way than China. Like China, if you check your house, I can say that up to 50% of what you have in your house is produced in China. Like they make sure that they do it to export it outside. But compared to North Korea, they don't do that. They can be selling weapons to nations. They can be selling ammunition to nations, but finished goods or consumer goods are what we use in our daily activity, in our daily life. I don't think they do that. I don't think they
let me
do
add to
that, but I don't think they export more of such things outside.
North
You want to say
Korea
something?
let me add to that. North Korea have tested many ICBM close to Alaska, close to the States. So the States know they have capacity.
They know say they have military
They have tested
capacity.
many active missiles, many. They've tested close to South Korea as well, close to Japan. So they are very active. The man is active.
I think there was a time that man just test in the river, like in the I think ocean, like you just test it like this way, beside USA, not USA, but beside
close to
just test
Alaska,
it.
very close.
Just to shake the USA that we are not sleeping. No, we have our power, we have our military power. You understand? So they know that this man is deadly. They know that he has military power, but they cannot attack him. He's in his side, he cannot attack them. He's looking at them, but all of them are fearing him. You know, they talk too much. You don't talk too much in public. He's always in his side. They talk too much. But in terms of production structure, I don't think they are powerful production structure. But when we talk about security structure, they are powerful. No one can dispute that.
And they failed to probe him. There was a time they traced a crypto, huge funds of crypto siphoned to North Korea, and they could not do anything about it.
They cannot do anything because they believe this man, they cannot just enter his country. Understand? He cannot just enter his country without his permission. Even people in the country that are living in the country, they cannot go out anyhow. So there is a restriction for citizens in that particular country. You cannot go anyhow, you cannot come in anyhow. So I think we are done with tonight's class. Thank you very much for attending it. I really appreciate every one of you. I know it might not be good enough, but this is the beginning of something that will be productive for us if we are all serious about this class. So I really appreciate everyone. Wakat, Adiza, Afsa, Judith, Ubu, all of you, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. And hopefully we have another one. We choose another day for another one. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Friday. I don't know. So thank you very much. This is the end of the class.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Good night.